An official health advisory warning regarding Pfizer's COVID-19 pills, the ones that were approved late last year and are sold under the name Paxlovid. People usually take Paxlovid after they actually contract COVID in order to lessen the symptoms as well as to lower the chance for hospitalization. However, according to this new advisory from the CDC, it warns Americans that taking Paxlovid might actually lead to a rebound in COVID symptoms. Here's specifically what the warning states, quote, "The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is issuing this health advisory to update healthcare providers, public health departments, and the public on the potential for recurrence of COVID-19 or COVID-19 rebound. Limited information currently available from case reports suggests that persons treated with Paxlovid who experience COVID-19 rebound have had mild illness. There are no reports of severe disease." Now, before we continue going down the warning in this advisory statement, let me back up for a quick moment and really set the stage for you by going through the entire Paxlovid story, starting with what the drug is and how it works. And actually, down in this advisory, they have a section called Background, which does a great job of breaking down exactly what Paxlovid is. Here's specifically what they write, quote, "Paxlovid is a prescription oral antiviral drug that reduces the risk of hospitalization and death for patients with mild to moderate COVID-19 who are at risk of disease progression and severe illness. It is available under emergency use authorization by the FDA for adults and pediatric patients. Treatment should be initiated as soon as possible and within 5 days of symptom onset among persons eligible to receive the treatment under the emergency use authorization." Okay, so in short, these pills are recommended by the FDA for people who test positive for COVID and want to get better as soon as possible, get rid of their symptoms, and avoid a serious infection that might lead them to go to the hospital. And there's big money behind these pills because you might remember that late last year, even before they were granted this emergency use authorization, the Biden administration had already signed a $5.3 billion contract with Pfizer, agreeing to purchase 10 million Paxlovid treatment courses. And just for your reference, a full treatment course involves taking 30 Paxlovid pills during a 5-day period. And so if you do the math on that, if you divide 10 million treatment courses by $5.3 billion that the Biden administration paid, that works out to each one of these Pfizer COVID pill treatment courses costing roughly $529. At least that's what they charge the U.S. government. However, according to this new CDC advisory, well, it appears that COVID symptoms may actually return after a person completes their Pfizer pill treatment course. Now, what's interesting to note here is that even though this advisory is being issued now, many months after the emergency use authorization was granted, this was actually something known even during the clinical trial phase. In fact, when the FDA regulators were evaluating Paxlovid data for approval, they noted that, quote, "Several participants in Pfizer's clinical trial appeared to have a rebound in viral load 5 to 9 days after completing their treatment courses. After the reports of rebounds post-authorization, additional analysis of the trial data showed that 1 to 2% of patients tested positive after testing negative or had a higher viral load after completing the treatment." And so obviously this was something that was known beforehand, that a certain percentage of individuals who take Paxlovid do experience a rebound of symptoms and then retest positive for the virus, even potentially with a higher viral load. However, we here at the Epoch Times, we reached out to the NIH for comment on this entire matter. And according to their response, it made it clear that, for one, they don't fully understand what's really going on behind the scenes, and that, secondly, they don't currently have any studies on this phenomena. Here's specifically what an official at the NIH wrote to us here at the Epoch Times in an email. Quote, "Scientists with the NIH are working with the CDC and the FDA to figure out possible ways to better understand this phenomenon. The NIH currently does not have studies underway, but the agency is actively discussing potential studies to learn more about who this is affecting, how often it is occurring, and if a longer regimen would be more effective in certain cases."
But Peter Navarro is a brave man. He's not shutting up. He joins us now for his first interview since being arrested. He is, as we told you, a former senior White House advisor and the author of Taking Back Trump's America, Why We Lost the White House and How We'll Win It Back. He joins us now. Peter Navarro, thanks so much for coming on. How was this allowed? This is so outside the bounds, unless I'm missing something, and I hope if so, you'll correct it. This is so outside the bounds of how a civilized country behaves. Did you see it coming? If not, how do you think this was allowed to happen?
Certainly, I saw it coming. We have entered really dangerous, unprecedented waters. Tucker, I was in a position where a partisan committee has weaponized the investigatory powers for the purpose of preventing Donald Trump from ever getting back in the White House. They subpoenaed me illegally, and I was faced with the untenable choice of upholding executive privilege, which was not my privilege to waive. That's Donald Trump's privilege to waive. So I did my duty to the president. I did my duty to this country. And here we sit. And the civil suit I filed, Tucker, I hope will be historically important because there's really two constitutional issues here at stake. The first, with this weaponization of Congress's investigatory powers, is a clear violation of the separation of powers in our Constitution. The legislative branch is not supposed to be the judge, jury, and execution. I heard one of your commentators there when you played that clip. The purpose was to punish Peter Navarro. That's not their role. That's the judiciary's role. So that alone is sufficient to render what they have done illegal, and therefore what the Department of Justice did.
我叫6月的鲜花
I'm King。
我叫无为有为。
我是正义小 Sarah。大家好，我是玛利亚。
我是挺国大侍卫。
我是逍遥小哥。
我是在3月9号来到我们买内卡前线的。
3月10号落地，
在现场现在1个多月了吧。
我来到这里已经有2个月了。
咱们在这里从3月4号到5月24号，整整经历了81天。
整个这段时间，我们从寒冷的冬天，一直到大家可以看到我现在的这个穿着。
我记得我们刚来的时候，天上下着灭共的雪，地上全是那个冰啊雪的。
都是在零下9度的情况下，一站在外头站10几个小时，
做直播还要用手去发电。
因为这个地方它是一个边境城市，非常的偏僻，什么都没有。那我们早上开玩笑去点菜是吧？从上到下只有波兰饺子，然后一吃那个波兰饺子就对吧？大家都有感受是吧？
刚来的时候，有很多人就觉得我们很奇怪，一下就来了一堆中国人，而且我们是唯一的一个救援团体，自带媒体组的。
很多次站在前面的小帐篷的时候，第一眼就会说：“哎呀，你们是华人啊！”他说：“我以前没见过华人做人道救援。”
有一个波兰司机来送我们到营地嘛，他就跟我们讲，之前的中国游客他们的眼神里充满了紧张。还有慌张，我们的眼神里是充满了希望跟快乐。
中共这70年大外宣和在国际社会上对中国人形象的抹黑，人家一想到中国人就是脏乱差，
我们应该有义务去反转这种局面吧。
从来的第一天到现在，我感觉到我们爆料革命在全世界的影响已经大不相同了。今天我在前面那个摊位上的时候，有个人跨过马路跑过来，就直接指着我的马甲说：“这个太了不起了，我非常赞赏这个。”他是一个义工，他专门来就是为了跟我说这一句话。
So many people pointing directly to this particular message and say I like it. It is really, really well accepted and wished.
我第一天来的时候，我在这边走了一圈，他们看着我戴着这个帽子和身穿的黄马甲，就说：“哦，你是新中国联邦人，虽然你是新来的，但是就那种油然而生的敬意，就是在他们的眼神里，在他们的话语中就能感受到。”
这2天以色列组织的领队他们在临走的时候专门到这边来，他们就这样子。
然后刚刚又碰到一个，他是做完义工的，临走之前也是专门过来，就是说你能不能给我解释一下你们这个 New Federal State of China 新中国联邦是怎么回事？他说太好了，他说我们理念一致，他说你们是有一个伟大的口号，你们有一个伟大的目标，
而且我们新中国联邦能够让全世界看到了，在华人社会里面，甚至整个亚洲唯一一支具有全球动员能力、迅速集结到达这个波兰，也就只有我们黄皮肤这么一个代表。
他们不会记得你具体是谁，但是他会记住你是新中国联邦人，记住我们的灭共的马甲，我们的灭共的咖啡，还有我们的帐篷。这2天不是要撤了吗？然后我们去跟每一个志愿者们道别。他说我们特别想你们，我们希望你们的帐篷永远都在这边，你们的咖啡和你们的帐篷和你们的微笑都永远放在我们的心里。
我们收获了这些国际组织对我们的尊重。
新中国联邦人不是没有秩序的，我们是非常有条理的。
他们都是非常的盼望将来新中国联邦去他们的国家建立新中国联邦的大使馆。
让我感受到我这次人生不虚此行吧，看到了我们新中国联邦第一次走上世界舞台了以后，影响力明显的在扩大。take down CCP 定位。
作为自由的一个人，代表着咱们自己的国家，那种开心我无法言表。能全身心的投入到这个人道救援，而且是做一个义工，我感觉到特别的骄傲。